Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. 2 Tasmanians have been charged after allegedly breaching home quarantine restrictions in separate incidents. Police say they both recently returned to Tasmania from Victoria, which is currently dealing with a major COVID outbreak. Our reporter Ruby Kamain has more.
Just days before the end of her quarantine, police say a 20-year-old woman failed to self-isolate after returning from Victoria. Police say the Greater Hobart woman arrived in Tasmania on June 30 and was ordered to quarantine, but left her residence on multiple occasions.
There's information that she'd certainly been in public places. Fortunately, she's not displaying any symptoms at present. We don't know of any confirmed contact that she's had with anyone who is confirmed to have COVID-19.
It's alleged she also provided false information to biosecurity staff upon arrival.
Extremely serious. I mean, from our point of view, we require honesty in reporting and we look to verify information wherever possible at all points coming into the state.
As Tasmania enters its 4th week of no active COVID-19 cases, police warn this type of behaviour is risky.
The danger here is always that it only takes 1 or 2 individuals who have been exposed or may have symptoms to affect the rest of the community and have us in a state where we were a number of months ago where we had far greater restrictions.
In a separate incident, the 5-day search for a 22-year-old man who also allegedly breached home quarantine rules came to an end last night, with the Ulverston resident arrested and charged. Police have thanked the community for their assistance.
TT Line says it will accept all travellers on the Spirit of Tasmania from September. The decision comes after the state government revealed Tasmania's borders will stay closed until at least July 31. Bookings on the vessels remain restricted to essential travellers. Tasmanians returning from Victoria on the Spirits are also required to undertake quarantine in government hotels. Police have been called to 2 separate ATV crashes on the West Coast this afternoon. One rider is in a serious condition after colliding with a 4-wheel drive on Sandy Cape track near Tema. A 42-year-old man has also received non-life-threatening injuries after a crash on Dip Road at Morbana. Some brave runners have crossed the finish line in Hobart after a gruelling 300-kilometre slog for an important cause. Taking just 3 days, the Bloody Long Run started at Eddystone Point on the state's northeast, raising money for medical research into bone marrow failures.
These young guys have taken on this sort of massive run is really a fantastic expression of their support for medical research and to ultimately, we hope, find a cure.
Pack leader Jordan Godomski's older brother Alex sadly died of the disease in 2017.
It's just tragic. I think I know 2 other families just in this area that I'm mates with who've gone through the same thing, and it's more common than you think. So I think it's really important to get around it and fund it as best as we can.
The cause has raised more than $26,000. They haven't had a gig since February, but in just over an hour's time, Launceston's Bad Dad Orchestra will have their first show since the coronavirus shutdown. With restrictions easing over the past month, hope is returning for the state's live music scene. But tonight's performance is still a little different.
With 9 members in the band, just rehearsing was hard enough for the Bad Dad Orchestra during COVID restrictions. Now they're back.
Unfortunately, we had a lot of gigs that we got cancelled. We had 3 or 4 good big mainland festivals. We were lucky we didn't book any tickets or anything like that, but yeah, we've pretty much had all our gigs just to a big halt.
Tonight they're on stage for the first time since February. Less than 60 people will be in the room at the Earl Arts Centre, but thanks to a $5,000 Arts Tasmania grant, they'll be live streaming the gig with the quality you'd expect from any live music show.
We're aiming at about an hour set, so starting at 7:30 tonight. We've got a mix of mostly original material with a few cover songs thrown in amongst it.
They're also using it as a chance to record a new music video.
So we had some funds to actually put quite a large crew together to be able to get the coverage we needed for the band visually.
Dancing is still banned for Tasmanians and social distancing still a reality. No one knows when live music will be what it was. But for the bad dads, it's just nice to be back among mates.
There was maybe one or two that we didn't really miss that much, but the rest were pretty good.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
$10 million will be kicked into Tasmanian sporting clubs as footy and soccer competitions finally resume. The state government has launched the Playing Field Fund to support associations hit hard by the COVID-19 shutdown.
So these projects will be available to upgrade change rooms, any form of sporting facility, lighting, security, fencing.
The grants will allow for a boost of confidence at the moment. A lot of sporting organisations are trying to go through the motions of whether they can fire up, how they fire up.
Applications for the fund open on Monday. After 10 months, the TSL has finally returned, with fans lapping up the action. Crowds flocking to KG5 this afternoon for the crunch clash between Glenorchy and Launceston. Supporters also allowed in at other venues across the state. COVID restrictions limiting numbers to just 500 people per venue, with social distancing measures in place. Officials say the return to action has been long awaited.
A lot of them are very glad to be back, and they've been ringing up all week trying to organise seats. So unfortunately it's very limited numbers, but there's a demand for football and we've got a lot of very keen people on the ground here today.
Glenorchy and Launceston have also agreed to reserve 50 tickets for away supporters at their clashes this season. An iconic Australian tradition has made its way back to hungry Tasmanian shoppers. Barbecues were fired back up for the much-loved Bunnings sausage sizzles, with the money raised at the Hobart offering going towards upgrades at Clarence High School.
The Rotary Club are really pleased to be back here. It's an iconic event, so the fact that hopefully it'll be supported by the community, because again it's all about putting money back into the local area.
Social distancing measures will remain in place to keep those after a snag safe. A new technology trial could change the way Tasmanian devil facial tumour disease is tracked in the wild. It's hoped the program will reveal more about the animal's behaviour, potentially stopping further spread of the deadly condition.
They're cute, they're collared, and they could be the key to stopping the spread of the devil facial tumour disease. 2 captive Tasmanian devils at Bonnarong are taking part in a trial to better understand the animal's interactions in the wild.
Aims to use 2 different types of technologies to understand how devils move in the landscape and how those movements influence contact patterns.
To see how they sort of work in a captive setting first, rather than trying to do that out in the wild where it's not really feasible.
By studying these contact patterns, similar to how coronavirus contact tracing works in humans, it will offer a greater understanding of the animal's behaviour and how the disease spreads.
These callers interrogate each other, and therefore we know the identity of the individual, we know the time of these encounters and the length of those encounters as well.
The next step is to move the trial to Freycinet, where researchers will put collars on a population of around 25 devils for up to a year.
This data is recorded on a 24 hours a day, 7 days a week basis. So we have a big challenge ahead of us once we retrieve these collars and the data, and we hope to reveal a lot of information.
Greg believes the true number of devils in the wild could be as low as 5,000, and with a cure still years away, it's hoped the results of this new technology could help fast-track research.
Every single life is important at this stage for a Tassie devil, and obviously research into the disease is crucial as well, and how that's spreading and what we might be able to do differently to assist them.
Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
Reigning TSL premiers North Launceston have held off a fast-finishing North Hobart to start the season with a 10-point win. In the other games, Launceston defeated Glenorchy, while Lauderdale was too strong for Clarence. But at UTAS Stadium, the Northern Bombers had to hold off a late flourish from the Brave Demons to secure the points.
North Launceston once again began the season as reigning premiers and were keen for a first-up win against North Hobart. The home team getting off to a positive start, leading by a goal at quarter time. They found an extra gear in the second term, kicking 3 goals to none to open up a 19-point lead at the main change. The visitors struggling in the second and third terms, kicking just one goal as the Bombers stormed to a 5-goal lead at the final change. The match, however, lit up in the final term, with North Hobart's Callum Kilpatrick taking a spectacular grab. It inspired the Demons, who kicked the last few goals to surge within 2 goals, but time was against them, North Launceston holding on by 10 points. At KG5, Glenorchy hosted Launceston in a repeat of last year's elimination final. Both are eager this year to move up the ladder in 2020, so winning today was vital. The first quarter a tight and scrappy affair, both teams scoring just a goal each, with Launceston just ahead at quarter time. It opened up in the second, the Blues' Brodie Palefree capitalising on an errant kick to extend their lead. Glenorchy getting the next 2, however Launceston finished strong to lead at half-time. They dominated most of the third term but added just 1 goal, leaving the door open for a Magpie comeback. But there was no late charge, the Blues kicking 2 goals to none, keeping the Magpies goalless in the second half. And at Skybus Oval, Lauderdale got the jump on Clarence in the first term, restricting the Roos to just 1 point. A 5-goal-to-1 second term all but ending the match at half-time, as the Southern Bombers stormed to a 38-point lead. Clarence keeping the hosts goalless in the third, but they could only muster 2 themselves. 4-2 in the final term from Lauderdale, helping them cruise to a 41-point win. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
To soccer now, and Tasmania's men's and women's football teams also returned to the field today for the first time this year. In the Women's Statewide Cup, Clarence Zebras showed they'll be a contender this year, thrashing Devonport 7-0 at Howrah. While in Launceston, the Northern Rangers also booked their passage into the next round with a comfortable 4-0 win over Launceston City. While in the Lackaseljack Cup, Glenorchy Knights had no trouble in their match against Northern Rangers. The home team cruising past the Northern Championship side 5-0 at KG5 this afternoon. The draw for the next round of the tournament will take place later this week.
Good evening, everyone. Devonport 14 degrees today, 13 the top for Launceston, Burnie 11 and 9 in Hobart. Around the state, 15 in St Helens, King Island and Friendly Beaches 14, 13 for Flinders Island and Smithton, Grove and Ouse reaching a maximum of 8 and a cool 6 degrees in Lyowini. Low-level cloud can be seen over the state today with a little less in the northeast. Further out, a bright mid to high-level cloud band lies over the southeast of the mainland. A low-pressure system sits over Adelaide, while thunderstorms are seen over southern New South Wales and Victoria. Tomorrow's chart shows a cold front and low-pressure system over inland New South Wales, while a large high is centred over the southeast of Western Australia. South to southwesterly winds tomorrow 5 to 15 knots, grading to 15 to 20 knots about the central north and northeast. There are no warnings for tomorrow, so looking onto the forecast now, Hobart a shower or 2 and 10 degrees, 11 in Richmond, morning frost and 9 in Ouse. Launceston early fog and 14, mostly sunny and 15 in Devonport, 12 degrees in Deloraine. Sunny in Burnie tomorrow, Strawn 14, possible showers and 15 in Curry, and developing showers in the east with St Helens 13, Swansea reaching 12 and 14 in Whitemark. Looking on to Monday now, showers about the east with areas of morning fog, fine elsewhere. Showers about the east and southeast on Tuesday, fine elsewhere, and very similar weather on Wednesday. 21 in Perth tomorrow, showers in Adelaide and Melbourne. Canberra reaching 13, 23 in Brisbane and a sunny 33 in Darwin. And currently Hobart 8 degrees and cloudy, Launceston partly cloudy and 7, and mostly cloudy and 8 degrees in Devonport. And that's all the weather tonight, Rach.
Lovely, thank you for that, Chels. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Good night.